Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 312. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're honored and excited to have back with us the internationally recognized and highly talented writer and creator of Worthy Chaos comics, Corissa Grant.
Hi. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, see, look at that, huh? You know, and we were just talking before we went on the air that you are well known within the indie comics world of just producing comics at breakneck speed. Right now we're talking about issue number 7 coming out, and you have only been making this comic for a year, and you've already done 7 issues.
Yes. Well, funny story. It's technically I've done 8 issues because the first one was redone. So technically I've had 8 released, but 2 are the same. But yeah, so it'll be 1 year on Halloween.
And so you're here to talk about you did the Worthy Chaos Redemption, which is a horror adventure comic, and those that have missed the first 6 issues, you can also kind of get the first 6 issues that you've done within a year. This is issue number 7 you're doing a Kickstarter for. Yes. On this Kickstarter, you have you do have a catch-up tier as well.
I have everything. I am one of the very few people that actually have an issue 1 tier. So if you're brand new and you don't want to pay for a catch-up tier, you can actually get for $5 the PDF issue 1 or a printed issue 1. And if you just want 1 and 2, because the new business isn't 2, so everyone wants 2, you can get those in the back add-ons. So you could buy PDF issue 1 and go into the add-ons and get issue 2 as a PDF or a print or whatever you want. So yeah, we have that. And then we have a mini catch-up tier 1 through 3 for $25, and it comes with all sorts of goodies. And then we have the grand catch-up tier, which is 1 through 7. And we have a metal cover tier, which is incredibly heavy metal. Catch-up tier of 1 with 7, all metal covers, which are awesome, by the way. This is the shiny metal. We all love shiny. Wow. All right. So yeah, this is issue 5 metal here because it was closest to me, but this is actually one of my favorite covers. I just hung the original art for this, so it's gorgeous. Can't have that. Nice. That was mine. I don't share the good stuff like that. I got to keep that stuff for myself.
That's right. Do you want to give people a little bit of background on just what the world is that you've created?
Sure. So it's Buffy meets Supernatural in Silent Hill in the Resident Evil world with good omens and Evil Dead tossed in. And it follows angel descendant Seraphina and demon descendant Draven, and they're trying to survive against everything hell has to throw at them, and heaven technically, as their fathers are trying to get the angelic weapon that she was created from. And if they can get this weapon from her, then they can tip the scales of the war of heaven and hell in either's favor. Now, the father has another reason he wants it, but he's using the war as an excuse to use heaven's resources. So we have that going on. So now Draven and Seraphina do not know that their fathers are after them. They don't even know that they're not human. We do. We're watching through, the eyes of their fathers, the demon and the angel. And we get to see all that's going on while our poor, characters are fighting against hellhounds and Anubis and ghosts and zombies and zombie mermen and pretty much anything we could throw at them. Because that's fun, torturing our poor characters. But yeah, and it's from, so I wrote novels first with my co-writer. And for anyone that doesn't know, I write the story and I write everything Seraphina. And then my co-writer comes in and writes everything Draven. So when you're reading the story, you have 2 completely different people writing for the 2 different characters. So they have really unique personalities. Like my poor character talks way more than she thinks, just like me. And Draven thinks way more than he talks, just like my co-writer. So it's kind of cool to have that little uniqueness when you're reading, right. Which I obviously love because I'm a role player. So I got to role play this story out and I absolutely adored it. And I still do it. My co-writer has a broken hand, so there's withdrawal there from chapters. So So now I'm working on the origins, the prequel of the prequel of where the fathers met and created the weapon and created Draven and Seraphina and all that. So I'm writing that now. So
Could you bring up the point that, like, yeah, the history of role playing, but this is not role playing that most people know the term as in, like,
yes.
rolling dice. This is actually taking on a role of somebody and writing. So it's actually like taking on a role through literature, not taking on a role
Yep.
through a game.
That's absolutely right. So I would write a chapter and hand it to my co-writer in the eyes of my character, and then my character speaks like the other, like Draven's there, and then my co-writer will go and write the entire chapter again in the point of view of Draven. So I don't know what Draven's going to say to my character until I get it back. I don't know what he's going to do or think or what he's going to say. So it's kind of cool because I always want to know the reactions of what I put the poor characters in. I want to know what he was thinking while I was torturing one of them. So it's definitely cool to get that. And we have such withdrawals when we're not writing. And we have this thing we call teasers. We cannot wait for now. I write on average 3,000 to 8,000 words a day. So my co-writer doesn't have to wait for me, but my co-writer takes a week because my co-writer writes all fancy and stuff the way you're supposed to write. Not me. I'm a storyteller. I don't use those fancy things you're supposed to use. So my co-writer does it the right way. But she sends me teasers so that I don't have to wait for the whole chapter. So like a couple of paragraphs in, she'd be like, "Do you want a teaser?" It's like, "Yes, I'm having withdrawals. Give me teasers." So I absolutely love doing that. And she created that because she's a lot slower than me. So it helps get through that. But she's 3 chapters behind. She has to finish the 8.5 thousand word chapter I sent her on the spin-off ending. And then the series 2, we have 2 chapters there. So that's why I can't write a foreword because then she would be even further back. So now I'm going to write the prequel so that I have something to write because I'm having withdrawals. I haven't written anything. It's driving me crazy. My scripts are already up to issue 19. So yeah, it's tough.
How do you translate the role playing that you do with your co-writer into a comic book script?
It's actually surprisingly easy. So since I'm the one that writes how the story moves forward, pretty much it's my writing that I just kind of cut into sections. Each issue is about 10,000 words, which can be our average issue is between 28 to 38 pages. So these are not little books. I try to do 28. I really, really try. So I try. It doesn't work. Like I think book 2, chapter 1 that comes out in January started as 28 pages, and I was so proud of myself. And then I reread it. I was like, I don't know. This is a really cool fighting scene. I want to see big panels, and now it's 32 pages. Yeah. So it's just I'm a little crazy when we're writing, but it's so I'll write out my part and then I separate, and this is kind of the tricky part. I separate all the speeches first, as soon as I get the settings, I take all this because they're separated by 3,000 words.
Right.
So I have to put their speeches next to each other, and that's a tricky part. And then I have to pick what the thoughts I want to add. Someone said yesterday that do I take any parts out? I was like, very rarely. Like I very rarely take any parts out. That's how obsessed I am with the story. And so much happens in it that you would think that I took out a ton, but when you role play the way we do, my job is to get my co-writer excited to write back. Not that she wouldn't be, but that's how I've been doing it for 17 years. So, it's almost all action, so like it's just nonstop. We do obviously have character development. They get to talk and do that, but generally they talk for like 2 pages before they're attacked by something or something's going on and all that. So yeah, pretty much I'm the one that has to take it apart and merge it all together. And it's very addicting to do it. Like here's how it is. I don't like starting a new issue. I try to avoid, like, I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And then I start it and I'm done in like 2 days. I'm like, why do I put these up? Like, once I start, I don't stop. But starting a new one, it's like, oh, I just finished one. I want to go write something and da da da. But no, and as soon as I start one, I'm done in like 2 days. So I don't know why I torture myself so much, but yeah. So I'm already up to chapter 19. So that's book 3. So
Right.
book 1, this is 7 that we're on, is the end of book 1. So we've got to complete book 1. It's going to be a hardcover. And then book 2, chapter 1 starts January 8th. And they all lead into each other, but they're different. I want to say environments. I guess seeing different, things that are going on. Like book 1 is pretty much the Silent Hill. They're in the town merging, the town is merging with hell. You've got all these things coming out of the, all over and attacking them. You have our version of the vampires, which are the Clotters, which are ruthless. You have the angels and demons and all that stuff. So it kind of concludes, you learn things that have been happening for the last 6, issues and all that. And then at the end, they go into the next book 2, and that's book 2 starts in a different environment. So it's the same story, it's just.
This story, this takes place on Earth or just a fictional world?
It would be, I don't know if you've ever seen for anyone that's seen Supernatural, it would be in that kind of world. It's like Supernatural and Resident Evil put together. So you have angels and demons that rule heaven and hell. But just like Supernatural, no one really knows about it but the hunters. Right. She calls herself a paranormal investigator or hunter. So it's technically Earth, but right. For all of us who believe there's things out there, you just don't see them. So technically it's our time with the creatures on the side. Couple of things that are a little bit different between us and Supernatural. Our demons, the higher end demons and angels, they don't have to go into human bodies. They have their own bodies. They get, kind of more like per scripture, they do have like the scary eye wing version that we haven't shown yet. But we also follow, mythology a lot more than Supernatural did. Like they were great at it, but sometimes they would just throw a demon or an angel with a certain name that has nothing to do with how they were in scripture and mythology. So we followed that pretty well, mostly because it's just, I always was like, why don't you just make up your own character if you're going to name it, whatever you're naming it. So yeah, it's on Earth. It's just an altered reality depending on if you believe in what is out there now, because it could be this Earth and you just don't know about it yet.
Now, you have a formula where every 7 chapters is a story arc, or? So
it goes by environment. So 1 through 7 is all Silent Hill. Chapter 2, book 2 is a haunted asylum where they're trapped with these giant salamanders that are horrible looking creatures. They kind of are version of lickers from Resident Evil 2 for anyone that knows those. And then we have zombies and we have ghosts, and they're all trapped in this asylum. They can't get out of it. They have to figure out how to get out of it. And then book 3 is the Resident Evil 2 homage, pretty much. They are trapped in a town or city of, they run into 2 other survivors, and then they try to get out of the city. Now, that one's a little longer because I'm obsessed with the Resident Evil. So book 1 is 7. Book 2 is now 6 because I merged 6 and 7, and I'll tell you why for book 2. So now issue 6 is 58 pages for book 2. The reason why I did that was because I wanted to end on Halloween again. So I'm like, I'm going to merge these 2. But book 3, that's 10 issues. So it is a little bit longer. Book 4 and 5 are, I think, 12 and like 14. So it's about 50 issues. Yeah. So my artist has his work cut out for him. So he got upset the other day because I said, I wish you could do the spinoff. And he's like, why can't I do the spinoff? I was like, because this one's going to be like 7 years. And then we already started series 2 with these characters. So Redemption series 2 is already like 5 issues in. So he's set for life if he feels like he wants to stay around. So that thing is going on. And then we have the prequel. I said, well, maybe by then you could do the prequel. So he does like the angels and demons. So
your artist is keeping up then with all this. And do they also do the inking and the lettering and all that and the coloring, or how does that?
For book 1, he does it all. He does pencil, inking, coloring and lettering. For book 2, I actually hired a colorist to try to make my artist happy because he hates coloring and it slows him down, even though he gets them done in like lightning speed. But so now we have a colorist. So we're adding Matt Chambers to book 2, and he's so far, the chapter 1 that he's done looks phenomenal. I mean, we've got the giant salamanders, and he had it have a purple tongue, and I was like, that is so gross. I love it. Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I'm really excited about it. Book 2 is way more. I mean, everyone's like, oh, you have so much action, you know, in 1 through 7 there, everything's going on. I was like, you know, nothing. Like book 2 is like all running, you know, running through whatever. I'll have to come back and tell you about book 2 because Lori yells at me for talking about book 2 too much because, well, I felt bad because I wrote my favorite's book 3. You're not supposed to have a favorite. My co-host, you're not supposed to have a favorite. It's like book 3 is my favorite. Book 3 was initially what I wanted to RP. It was my original story. Then it kind of got away from us. It got like, you know, a lot more. So book 3 is the heart of me, and I absolutely love it. So it is my favorite. So I was so looking forward to 3 that I completely forgot about everything that happens till I'm scripting, and I was like, giant salamanders and zombies, when did this happen? So yeah, so there's a lot in book 2, and it's super exciting. It has a very interesting ending that everyone's gonna kill me for. But yeah, I'm excited. And hopefully it goes well. I did for book 2. So everyone loves my covers for book 1. So I got really lucky there. But book 2, I kind of stepped it up because I don't know why I didn't think of this before, which is probably a good thing I didn't. I hired Resident Evil artists from the comic book. So like, I have 2 covers from Resident Evil artists. I have one of them also did Army of Darkness, the interior of Army of Darkness. So I have that because it's part of Evil Dead. And I also have a Buffy artist, Carl Moline, who's absolutely phenomenal. He's doing the cover to chapter 2 of book 2, which is so good. He already showed me. I love it when they send me like an ink drawing, like, this is just a rough draft, don't worry about it. I was like, I would put that on my cover. Like, I was like, right now. So yeah, so the first 3 covers. The first one is Resident Evil, and Jeremy Rampak, and he did he does the interiors to Injustice, which I don't read. My brother is thrilled because he loves Injustice. He did Resident Evil. The cover is phenomenal. I'm trying to get Cece Dela Cruz from Lady Death Universe is trying to color it. She's like, I'm really busy, and I was like, I really want you to do it. So she's like, all right. She's like, I will try to do it next week. I'll try to get mine done and then do yours. I was like, okay. So hopefully she'll be able to do it because she did. I think you saw Resident Evil. Issue 4. She did the Anubis one, and she also did the cover for our hardcover, and it's just phenomenal. Like, she does the interiors currently for Lady Death Universe, and they're just amazing. So hopefully she can do that. And then I have the Army of Darkness and Resident Evil artist. And that's Kevin Sharp, and I'm looking forward to him. He just sent me a rough draft, and I was like, I love it. I hate when they make me choose. Like, they're like, choose from 1 through 5. I was like, really? So like, I have to go through these layouts, and I was like, Then I sent it to everybody else, and then everyone, they're horrible. I love everyone on my Twitter or X or whatever and Facebook, but they're always so split. They do not help me at all. Like, if you look at my current Kickstarter, I have this one cover, which is amazing. And it has artistic. Yeah. So that's the one without scratches that you see right there. And if you scroll up, you'll see it has scratches. Yeah. So I set a poll on both Twitter and Facebook. Both have 5,000 followers. And I asked, which one do you like better? Because I'm Pisces. I can't decide between two things. So they were completely not only split down the middle, they were totally adamant on their side. Like, one's like, oh, the scratches is because you have dark, gruesome and everything. It needs scratches. And then I have someone on the other side and be like, oh, no, the other one's darker and clearer. So you have to have that one because of your story is so dark. And I was like, really, people? So now we have both. So And Lori and I are fighting, playfully fighting, of course. Which, by the way, her Kickstarter is live now too.
Yep.
And we have a cross promote, which we haven't really talked about, but we are going to cross promote. Whoever pledges both sides gets a print of our characters meeting, and her character.
Oh, cool.
Her character is about to kiss my character's hand, and Draven is in the background about to kill him because he's touching his girl. And then you have Anubis and Big James, the zombie bear, there too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're at war because I love the clear, no scratches, pretty, smooth, dark. She's like scratches galore. So right now, mine is, I think, winning. So I'm hoping that mine wins. But
right.
Everyone's the winner. But still, I'm excited for that one.
With this being your 6th Kickstarter, what are you doing now that you've learned on your 6th Kickstarter that you wish you knew when you did your first Kickstarter?
Oh, well, the interviews. Like my first Kickstarter had no interviews, no nothing. I think by the end of this month, I'll have a total of 135 that I've done podcast interviews. So there's that. Also, merch galore. I didn't have any merch in the beginning, and now I'm merch queen. So like we have everything. Like we have coins and Anubis Legos and I didn't know that Anubis was so popular. So I didn't have any merch for him, and now it's like all Anubis, mostly all Anubis merch, because everyone's like, "What do you have Anubis?" Is like, name it, we got it all.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have the new plushie, which is our Hellhound. So he's our new plushie for this one. And then my co-writer, we were celebrating our 3 years of writing like 2 weeks ago, and I'm sitting there on the couch watching Ash versus whatever. And she's like, what would be cool is a salamander plushie. And I was like, damn it. So now we have a salamander plushie coming for book 2. So that, I was like, thanks a lot. So yeah. For all I know, I'm probably going to have a zombie plushie with a straitjacket because they're in the asylum. So some of the zombies have straitjackets. So now I might do that. Because who doesn't want a zombie with a straitjacket and a knife through the head or something snazzy. So yeah. So and then I had one person on a podcast make fun of me. They're like, "You're new. Why do you have so much merch?" It's like, I wanted it. Like everything I want, and then it's tax deductible for selling it. So yeah, that's why.
See, there you go.
Yeah, now it's the best hobby ever. Everything I want is tax deductible. I love it. So
right.
You can't really beat that. So but the everything is very popular. Everyone likes the Lego, and we have a 3D staff specific for our Lego Anubis, and coins. We have gold plated coins. We got homemade statues. We've got new 3D statues. This is our newest one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's pretty snazzy. So we have,
that's an Anubis. That's like the bust of Anubis.
Yeah. So that's the 3D. That's resin printed, which is way better than the filament, or whatever they call it. We have one filament left, which is pretty cool, but it's the last one. We're not going to do that one anymore. And then we have this one, the little bust, and then we have another 3D 6 inch. They're both I think all three are 6 inch. And then in the add-ons we have a 1 inch RPG miniature and a smaller version of one of them. So and I've been asked this like 1,000 times, so I don't know if it's going to happen. However, we may be looking into eventually doing an RPG tabletop, because we've been asked like 1,000 times, do you have an RPG game? And I was like, it's not that kind of RPG, but now they all want it, so I'm like, maybe we'll look into it. My co-writer wants a video game. I was like, I would love like a Silent Hill, Resident Evil type video game.
Right.
But that might be a little more expensive than an RPG tabletop. So just a little, like, my house worth. But doesn't mean I won't do it. But someday.
Your numbers on your previous Kickstarter steadily increased. Do you see how often do you see when you look at your backer report, how many do you see returning readers and how many are new readers that you notice?
I have about, I think they've been steady at around 65% returning. Which is actually a lot better. I thought it wasn't that great. And then everyone's like, oh, we have like usually like 14%. I was like, no, it's 65%. I have more new people than I thought I would, because, and they buy my ketchup tier, which I got to tell you is incredibly, appreciative, because that's a lot of money to put into, a ketchup tier and you don't really know the story. And they buy it, and it comes with a lot of goodies. And I've had people buy all the back issues and all the variants and all that stuff, and it's very touching that they do that. I love it. I think I had like 10 new ones, 10 ketchup tier printed last time, and the time before that I had 15 printed, which is just phenomenal. And I get them out pretty quick. So last campaign I got them out, 22 of them out the day of, and then I got the rest like 6 days later. I think it was a little longer because I don't order the variants until it ends, because I have no idea how many there'll be, especially with this scratches versus no scratches one. So we'll see, but I can get out like the original cover, and all that stuff. So those go out faster than the other ones. But I like to get the ketchup tiers out first, because I have Kickstarter so fast that I need to get the new people to read them so they get to like them, so they'll come back again. So yeah, we're pretty quick to get them out. I pay extra to get the 2 to 6 day printing so I can get everything out on time and all that stuff, because people think I'm crazy that I have them so soon. And I do. The last Kickstarter ended 3 weeks ago. So, we started early because, again, I wanted to end on Halloween, which is my 1 year celebration in comics, because my very first Kickstarter started on Halloween last year.
So, Corissa, if people want to learn more about your work and learn more about your comic, where's the best place they could go to?
So to check out my work, the best place is Kickstarter. You can search Worthy Chaos with the only thing that pops up, or you could do theworthychaos.com, which is our now permanent link for Kickstarter. Our website is worthychaoscomics.com, and that'll be updated after this Kickstarter. So right now, I think you can get 1 through 4 in there, and then as soon as the Kickstarter ends, you'll be able to get all 7. But it's the same price as Kickstarter, and Kickstarter comes with goodies, so you might want to do Kickstarter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then we also have a Facebook group that we just started. There's about 700 members in there, so you can just search Worthy Chaos groups on Facebook. You can add me, Corissa Grant. I have 5,000 followers on there, and on Twitter it's @worthy_chaos, and we have 5.3 thousand followers on there.
Wow.
So yeah, and I love to talk to people. I'm one of those people that would have got kidnapped as a kid, because I'll just talk to anybody. So I help all the new people. I'm like the unofficial PR for all the new people that come in, and I try to help them with their Kickstarters and help them get on shows and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun to meet the new people and help them get started. Look at that, no scratches, how clear that is. That's pretty. That's the one I picked for metal tier. I have 2 people that always definitely get metal tiers. So I asked them which one they wanted, and they chose the clear one. So that one's metal. But the 3 covers that I always have several people buy those. That comes with the default of scratches, and they can message me if they want no scratches, or they could buy the no scratches one, which is what my brother did, so that he has all 4, and that's in the add-ons. So you can get them in add-ons.
Okay. Well, listen, Corissa, this is great talking with you again. So you got to make sure you come back on again. So I don't know how we missed not having you come on issue. I think you did come on issue 4, because I reckon that cover, but then it was
So we'll have to set up the next one, because I've got book 2 and I've got all these fancy covers that I have to show all these people. Right. So we'll set up for early next year, and then I'll come back, because I love coming on the show, because you like to fuel my ego, and it's great for me. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Corissa.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Covers the artist and the printing. Usually it doesn't cover merch, but I love merch, so I don't mind paying for that.
That's true. All right, let me do the intro, and then we'll get going. There we go. This is just a pre-show banter.
Oh wait, how long are we talking again, so I can watch the clock?
No, don't worry. We'll do. I usually keep it around 30 minutes or so.
That works.
So yeah.
I like to control the rambling by knowing when it's going to end.
Oh no, I'll let you ramble. Are you kidding me? I love Corissa rambles. Yeah, this is good.
It's good to know.
All right, let me pull up the intro here.